I'm back. It's been another hair wash day, so here I am getting ready to bless you and your screens with my presence. You are welcome. Today, I want to talk about the query that got my agent, the query that snagged me out of the query trenches, the terror that is querying. I'm going to share it with you. And I haven't read this damn query since 2021 when I snagged my literary agent. I have not even looked at this thing because I'm a coward, because I am afraid of what I might find. But I printed it and everything in blue ink because I'm out of black ink. But I printed this bad boy up. I'm going to read it to you. We will discuss. Be kind, please. But before I read this, let me tell you why I wanted to go all the way back and talk about this in particular, because there are really and truly so many videos about querying that you can find. And I went through all of those videos when I was querying, and they helped so much. But truly, what I found to be really helpful when I started working on my own query was looking at other people's queries and seeing how terrible they were. So here you go. You're welcome. But first, before I get into it, okay, because I'm stalling, because I'm terrified, I wanted to read this again because I had mentioned in my very first YouTube video, my origin story, that I had ended up getting 3 offers of representation. So basically, what that means is I sent this query out, I think, to probably at that time for Sinner's Isle. I had just come off a big mentorship program, so the my manuscript was really clean, like it was ready. So I sent this query out to about 30 agents that had shown interest because they had seen me during that mentorship program. They had read a little snippet of my work, so I automatically kind of had a boost because there were already agents that were looking at me that probably put me and my other Pitch Wars mentees above in the list of queries that were in the sludge pile. And then from there, I started querying other agents that I had my eye on. And I think that is a major factor when you are querying. Please do not just throw out your manuscript and your queries to any agent that has an email. We don't want just anybody. That's something I have learned throughout the years in my own journey, but also in watching my other author friends in their journeys. Some have had amazing experiences with their agents. I mean, most have. Others haven't, unfortunately. And so I feel like right off the bat, do not query an agent that you do not feel like is a great fit for you. Because at the end of the day, you are paying them. You're not really paying them, okay? First of all, you don't pay agents. But when they sell your work, they get a commission from that sale. So you want to have an agent that you really and truly feel like will go to bat for you, will be there for you, has your best intentions in mind, and can sell your books. So don't just query an agent. Don't just look for an agent to have an agent, because no agent is better than a bad agent. I've known people who have had the bad agents and have been kind of just stuck in limbo with these agents for even years. And we don't have time for that shit. Okay. We've got books to write and books to sell. So, back to when I started querying, I had a list of agents that I knew because I had researched their manuscript wish lists. I had gone on their websites. I had done all of the work ahead of time and found the agents that I really and truly felt would kill it, will do a spectacular job representing me and my books. Those are the only agents I queried. The ones that I really and truly felt comfortable with were the only ones I queried. For Sinner's Isle, for the first book, that I ever wrote. I queried every damn human being on the planet. I was desperate. Okay. I was desperate and I queried everybody. Didn't work out for me either way. So let's go into querying with that boss bitch mindset. Like, I'm only going for someone that I feel like is going to champion me because I'm worth it. Okay, so when I started querying for Sinner's Isle, I had that boost of coming off of that Pitch Wars mentorship. And then on top of that, I had done my research and I had found agents that I really and truly was excited about. I didn't query anybody that I was afraid that if they said yes, that I that I would have to be like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Never mind, I don't want you." Because once you start querying and say an agent does read your work and they do have a call and they do offer representation, you have to go back to all of the agents that you've queried that still have open queries, that have not either passed or, said terrible things to you and you don't want to deal with them. You have to go back and email those agents that have those open queries and say, "Hey, I've had an offer. Do you want to chat?" Like, people want me. Do you want me to? So again, only query people that you really and truly are excited to work with, because you just don't know if they're going to be wanting that call and want to offer you representation, and then you're going to be like, or you say yes because you're a people pleaser and because you're afraid to say no, and then you end up with a terrible, I was going to say relationship. I mean, I guess it's a relationship, but it's a working relationship. Okay. Enough with the stalling. It is time to read the actual query that I sent to my now agent. With each query that I sent out, I tried to personalize it because, like I said, I had done my research. And so this is the one that I sent to my agent, Larissa Mello Pankowski. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day to read this query. It's already kissing ass. It's okay. I recently listened to your interview on the Manuscript Academy, and I now understand how demanding agenting can be. Sinner's Isle, what a kiss ass. But hey, it's personalized. And I did listen to her on Manuscript Academy, and it was a great interview. And that's where I really and truly was like, oh my God, she'd be amazing. Anyway. Sinner's Isle is a dual POV YA fantasy complete at 98,000 words. It is a Latinx Pirates of the Caribbean meets The Bells by Danielle Clayton. Okay. 18-year-old Rosalinda is a powerful witch. Vicious phantoms live inside her, scratching at her bones and whispering to her at all times, begging for the freedom to hurt and destroy. Okay, that's not bad. She's been chosen to serve the sovereign as payment for his continued protection from those who wish to see witches eradicated. He'll take her away from the isle where she and her kind live and force her to use her power as a weapon against his foes. If that happens, innocent lives will suffer, and she'll never see her dearest friend again. The only option is for the two friends to escape, but they'll need help to get past the watchful eyes of the isle's keeper. Mariano is the son of the most feared pirate in the island kingdom. When his father perishes, leaving him with a spelled chain that can guide a man to his heart's desire, his uncles try to kill him. Forced to abscond his father's ship, he's marooned on an island teeming with riches beyond belief. But when he happens upon Rosalinda, and her beauty distracts him, he fails to notice she's nicked his prized possession. With Mariano's chain in her custody, Rosalinda gives him two choices: help her escape Sinner's Isle, or watch his chain sink to the depths. Begrudgingly, he chooses to come to her aid, as each tries to outwit the other, and their foes, their pesky attraction gets in the way, complicating the hatred they both wish to feel for one another. But if they don't learn to trust themselves and each other, they may never escape. Okay. I come from a family of respected Chicano writers, actors, and musicians. My goal is to bring Latinx characters to the forefront because representation matters in every form. You can find me on Instagram, where I am building my platform. Thank you for your consideration, Angela Montoya. Okay. Actually, it's okay, right? It's not as painful and awful as I thought it was going to be. What I understand from queries as I was reworking them, as I've read other friends' queries and helped them tweak them, is that you want to make sure the stakes are clear and you don't want to just generalize what's happening. Like she's a witch, and if she doesn't escape, bad things will happen. See how general that is? But no, I said she is a powerful witch and she has phantoms that are inside of her. And because of that, the sovereign wants to use her. I'm paraphrasing. If she doesn't get away, innocent lives will suffer, but she'll also never see her dearest friend again. So not only will people suffer, but she will truly suffer because of the relationship that she has. Again, I really and truly worked so hard to streamline it as much as I could. I tried to personalize it, talking about where I have seen my agent before. And then at the very end, I talk a little bit about myself and my history. And I didn't have many accolades to talk about at that time when I was querying. And it's funny, I didn't even mention Pitch Wars on here, which I should have, because that was something that I had just done that was really, really spectacular. Not as bad as I thought, which is great. Good job. It's not as bad as I thought, because now that I remember, I had so many freaking eyes on this query. And yes, it could still be tweaked and changed and worked on. It could even get better. But I think the difference was, for me at that time, was I had sent it to a bunch of different author friends, writer friends, and we worked on it together to get it to that point. I reached out to people that were ahead of me in the game, that have queried, that have gotten agents, and that's where we ended up with. Now, if you want to look back at Sinner's Isle and look at what the actual synopsis or blurb is, it is a streamlined version of that. I guess I could read it real fast. Rosalinda is trapped on Sinner's Isle, an island filled with majestics like her, witches loathed by society for their dangerous magic, yet revered by powerful men who want to exploit them. Now 18, Rosa will be the prize commodity at this year's offering, a fiesta for the wealthy to engage in drink, damsels, and debauchery. This is why she decides to flee, before someone forces the vicious phantoms within her to destroy everything she touches. Handsome, swashbuckling Mariano has long sailed the high seas as the prince of pirates. After the king's fleet attacks his father's infamous ship, Mariano is marooned on Sinner's Isle with only an enchanted chain meant to lead him to his heart's desire. Instead, he finds a brazen but bewitching headache, Rosa. Mariano and Rosa must now outwit each other and their enemies before the offering is over and it's too late to escape Sinner's Isle. So it really and truly is maybe a little better, because my editor did help a lot with this. But it is a streamlined version of what I queried. And I think that's the whole entire point. A lot of times what your team will do is pull from that original query. Even your agent, they get ready to go on submission and pitch your book to editors. They will pull from that original query, because you really and truly should know the heartbeat, the essence of your story, and be able to put it down on the page. Once I started querying, a magical thing happened. I began to feel tormented by doom. Months in the querying trenches are really and truly torture. They're the worst. You can't help but check your email 1,000 times a day. Of course, the one day when I was really busy is when an email came. And it wasn't from my agent. It was from another agent. I was first contacted by somebody entirely different. And I got on a call with this person, and we chatted about Sinner's Isle, what they thought we could do to make it better, where they thought they saw it in the market. And then after this chat, they offered representation to me. And I was floored. Okay. I was aghast. This is everything I had been working on and for. But as I'd mentioned at the beginning of the video, before you can say yes, it is standard protocol and it's just good manners to email everybody that still has your manuscript, that hasn't closed off or passed, and they still are possibly reading your stuff. So I sent out emails and I said, I have this offer of representation. In 2 weeks, I plan, to either move forward, blah, 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 blah. But basically, I gave that cutoff of 2 weeks for agents to hurry up their reading if they were reading it at that time. After a few days, another agent reached out to me. I hopped on another call. They had so many wonderful things to say. I was like, wait a second, like me? And so it was another amazing call. And then the weekend before my cutoff date, so my cutoff date was, say, Monday or a Tuesday. The weekend before, Larissa reached out and was like, hey, because at the time she'd only had maybe 50 pages of the manuscript. She was like, hey, can I get the full and see if I can read it, and then maybe we can chat, because what I've seen so far I really, really like. So I was like, so I sent it to her, and by the weekend she had read it twice. And then we hopped on the call and I was like, yes, this feels so right. And I wouldn't say it was a no-brainer because all 3 of the agents were spectacular in their own way. However, I did feel like Larissa really and truly understood the heart of the story. She understood these characters so well. And I felt like she was going to champion this book because she was really and truly excited about it. I ended up obviously going with Larissa Mello Pienkowski, and that was in 2021. So here we are, 2025. Yes, that is what year we're in. And we have sold 3 books together. So, and hopefully more, knock on frickin' wood. And it's been an amazing, amazing relationship. And I'm so happy I went with my gut. And that I found somebody that really, really believes in me. I do want to say that if you do sign with an agent and you aren't feeling comfortable, you're not feeling happy with how they're doing things, you feel, lost in the mix, it's always okay for you to reach out to them and tell them how you're feeling, and also to not work with them. It's not the end of the world. I've seen countless authors, so many authors who for various reasons have had to fire their literary agents, or their literary agents have moved on, and it's okay. It's not the end of the world. It's not. If you aren't happy, it is not the end of the world. You will find somebody else, I promise you. Remember, again, no literary agent is better than a bad one. Well, that's it for my video. What I hope you take away from my query experience, besides that I'm so fabulous and so smart and like really write so well, is that I really and truly leaned on my community and I asked for help when it came time to query. I was not afraid to let people that I trusted and that I respected and that I knew had a good eye on queries. I wasn't afraid to let them look at it and help me build a query that was concise and had high stakes and was attractive to agents. A caveat to that, though, as there's always a caveat to everything, you don't have to take every bit of advice that someone offers. If something doesn't feel right to you, always trust your gut. Period. Full stop. You know you. Thank you for sticking around. Sinner's Isle is available for sale. If my query really enticed you, I'm so happy it did. I'm so happy it did. Paperbacks, ebooks, audiobooks, and hardbacks are available now. Bye.